up to today? Something a little different today. We'll get to that in a minute. First, I wanted to show off some of the finished stuff that I had worked on the channel. These guys I don't think I actually built on the channel, but they're still pretty cool. This cute little pink goblin guy and some kind of guard. They just were on the same batch of getting top coated as the stuff I'm about to show. So last week when we were building zombies, um, I got all of them done. So we've got our mix of Wargames Atlantic and Fireforge Game Zombies here. And then I hit them with some like purple because I want them to be part of my like void taint stuff that I'm kind of making the terrain and stuff for. So yeah, what I did was I took 3 of them and put them on individual bases because in one-page rules you get unit size of 3 for these kind of mob minis like this. Um, and I thought that was pretty cool if they're kind of like just on the same base. And frankly, I thought it looked a lot cooler than just having 3 minis there, all separate with separate bases. They looked kind of more like a mob like this to me, and I thought that was kind of neat. Um, I know it's like probably not like legal or whatever, but fuck it. Right? Who cares? It looks cool. And they're my minis, so who cares? But yeah, so they're really cool. Really good minis, and they go together really well. Because the Fireforged ones are a little more like normal standing, and then the War Games Atlantic ones are kind of like and all these like kind of crazy poses and shit. So I think it looks really cool together. So yeah, they're really fun. I was gonna use them today, but I haven't quite finished the one-page rules lists I was making. Um, we'll talk about that a little bit, but then also I'd shown off these 3D printed buildings, which I think are supposed to be for Turnip 28, but I printed them out to use with my Possum The Squares War guys. Um, and these I just finished these yesterday, so I wanted to show them off. They just got top coated yesterday. But these are all from that Vexed Village Kickstarter. Man, they are cool. These are really cool minis. I've got some resin pieces from a different maker that I printed out that I'm going to put on these. So stuff like little lanterns and maybe some more mechanical gubbins. I might replace some of these windows with more complicated window frames, that kind of stuff. But yeah, they're super, super fun minis. Well, I guess they're not minis, I guess they're terrain, but you know what I mean. Um, Also, I got a bunch of the trees done. So we were making these the other day, but flocking them and doing the undercover for them with that polyfiber stuff. And yeah, they're super dope. Hello! I am really, really happy with how these trees came out. I think they're pretty cool. So, let's see. We got a couple more of these Vexed Village buildings to look at. And then we got this cool destroyed one here. And then there's a couple different STLs of like just busted walls in the Kickstarter. Um, and they're all pretty dope. So it's pretty cool. So you can like put a building like that down, and you can add like, oh, there's the thing, and then it's actually a bigger building than that. Now you have kind of a bigger layout kind of thing. So uh, they're pretty fun. And then there's another little one. And then the one that I'm definitely the most happy with. I don't know if I showed this off last week. I might have shown it off last week, but if I did, apologies. But if I did it, yeah, the like sunken building in the goo pool. Oh, I freaking love this thing. Even if there's junk on it. if paper got stuck in it. Apparently. That's fine. But yeah. Super, super fun. Just house sinking in a pool of goop. Goopy, goopy, goop. And yeah, so I've got a couple more that of these the set that I'm going to be working on. So I've got I need to prime them still, but I've got this guy, and he's got that polyfiber stuff. Not polyfiber, the like what is that called? Um, the like fiber medium that I got on him to give him the kind of like different texture. So that's all there. Um, and then this really big one too, the super big destroyed one. And this Kickstarter has non-destroyed versions too, so I'm going to print out one or two non-destroyed ones when I work on them. Because I think that'll be kind of cool to sort of mix those in with the set. I think that'll be pretty dope. The one building that I'm really sad, but I totally screwed up printing, um, was the like riser base piece. There was like a riser, like a whole second level kind of thing, and it like completely screwed up printing. Um, and it's a real shame because it was really neat. But yeah. So, um, yeah. Okay. So what are we doing today? We're gonna do something really different actually that I've never done on the channel before. Um, but I don't think I can paint today because my eyes are kind of gummy because I'm like apparently super mega dehydrated and having a little bit of trouble like super sharp focusing today at close things. So I was actually gonna build some Legos because I bought some Legos to go to work. Um, because my new job has a bunch of like little bit of like downtime in it, where it's like not enough time to start a new project, but it's so too much time that I get bored, right? So like I could put like a Lego piece or something together in that time. So I picked some up. I got this online off of Amazon. His design is kind of scary, I think, because he can't actually shut his mouth, and he has these fucking gigantic eyes. But I thought it'd be fun and something that wouldn't require a lot of like really close kind of focusing. Um, and I thought it would give me something to do while I talk about kind of like what I'm trying to do for like campaign stuff in the game, in the channel. Um, da-da-da-da. Oh, weird. They're stickers. That's strange. A lot of parts. Let's see. 4, 3, 1, 2. Man, that is a satisfying as hell sound in it. Could you imagine if Warhammer minis had instructions that were this nice? It's kind of crazy, like to think about, like, right? Like a box of Warhammer minis is like, like $60. I think I got this for like 35. Like, look how nice this is. Like, that's a good piece of like stuff there. But you uh, fancy part separator, so fancy. But yeah, what is the pink brick gonna be for? Exciting. All right. So, um, what the hell do I want to do on the channel? Honestly, I'd really like to do some more campaign stuff. I really enjoyed playing Frostgrave. That was very fun. Um, I think the math is less interesting. Um, the more games you play, like conceptually, I think the math is very cool and works very well, but I think it's less interesting um, from like a long-term play standpoint than say like having opposing dice rolls or something like that. I think that's probably a little more fascinating from maybe like a watching standpoint, and also just from like a longer term play standpoint, because the math equation essentially becomes the same every time. So you kind of have, it's always one really big wide dice roll versus another, which isn't actually a bad thing, but it's also a little bit of a detriment. Um, because I think that ends up being less interesting than, six dice versus two dice and stuff like that. Um, so what I was thinking about doing is I was thinking about trying to do like a hybrid, um, maybe something with uh, what is that game called? Five Leagues from the Borderlands as like the campaign system, and then using like one-page rules as the battle system. Because I don't know, I talk about it a lot on the channel. I'm just kind of a busted person, right? My brain is definitely kind of goop. Um, and honestly, games that end up having a lot of complicated rules tucker me out. And I choose that phrase because LOL, but it's true. Um, I get really tired of a game if it's like over like 45 minutes to an hour, right? The hell piece is that? Okay. It's one of the reasons why I could never really play 2,000 point Warhammer games because I would just run out of energy, and one probably wasn't any fun to play against for my opponent anymore, but I definitely wouldn't come out of the game um, feeling good either. So even if like it was an amazing game and I won and yada yada yada, right? Like I would come out in probably just a drained, not amazing mood, just because it goes like that. Oh, yeah, that's kind of neat. Just because I'd run out of energy, right? I'd run out of like that people battery and stuff like that. Um, whereas with a lot of indie games that are shorter and stuff, I usually have a better time because of that. But I think what I'm probably looking to sort of get to with a campaign game is a good chunk of randomness because I think that's interesting. Um, when you control it too much, I feel like some of it is lost, especially in a campaign game. Um, and I feel like in a YouTube video, doing interesting progression is very hard unless you watch each piece in like the episode, um, or each piece in like the series. And I'm going to be super mega honest, I really don't stream consistently enough that I think people would want to do that. Um, like I stream every weekend, but I mean, I'm building Legos right now, right? Like this is totally different than what I normally do on this channel. So, um, you kind of like can't be like, oh man, yeah, okay, let's go see what happens in that or whatever. Just because with different energy levels and stuff and different time every weekend, I kind of don't have the most consistent schedule with that kind of stuff. So, um, it winds up being a situation where I don't think it's probably the most entertaining for people either. So, so far we're building a big block. I'm assuming this is shoulders, that's neck, and this is like waist. I'm assuming. And the pink part is like his chest. I don't know why they chose. a pink block for that, but it's cool. Especially considering we're covering it all up, so I don't know why they would pick a pink one. But it's kind of neat, I guess. Um, okay. I screwed up something. I screwed up something. Something screwed up. Okay. Bing bang bosh. All right. Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay. Let's see. What I thought I screwed up was this. That looks correct now. Let me go. Okay. That looks right. Did that. And then. Oh, I see. Oh, God, that was a lot easier of a screw up than I thought it was. I just put the piece one piece too high. Okay. Good to know. Um, but yeah. So hello. Um, because of that kind of like inconsistency, I don't think um, that is like probably the most interesting to watch. Just because it changes so much, right? And it's not like I always am like, oh, I do Warhammer or whatever, right? And that's all I do, you know. Because I switch around a lot, right? Play different stuff, build different models. I mean, last week I was building models from two different indie companies, right? I was building stuff from Wargames Atlantic and Fireforge Games. And Wargames Atlantic is a pretty big company now, but they're still not anywhere near Games Workshop, right? Like, um, no, it's the Roundy Roundy Boys. In case anyone's wondering, this is a Roundy Roundy Boy. Um, uh, yeah. So because of that, it's this weird situation where, um, what the hell? Oh, I see, I see. Okay, so this is gonna meant to look like his neck collar is what this is, I think. Or like the top of his shirt. All right, so then it's got like the stuff coming out of it there. Um, there we go. So yeah, so just kind of a interesting sort of situation from a what do I stream, what do I want to stream, what is interesting to me at the moment, you know what I mean, kind of situation. Um, because obviously, right, like, and you can see this with every. I definitely skipped something there. Ah, yeah, okay. No, I did. Big time, big time skip. Let's see. What is this? All right, like fluffy fur pieces. Um, because the a lot of like even the famous like hobby kind of YouTubers right now are really struggling right now. Partly because of just the economic situation for a lot of people right now sucks. Um, right. So like Black Magic Craft, for example, has started doing these um, kind of like daily like hobby vids to try to like goose up is the wrong way of saying it, but it's to try to like push up his interest in the algorithm. Is that how that goes? That feels wrong. Oh, it goes in the middle. Interesting. Okay. Weird. Weird, weird, weird. A couple others have done that as well, including a bunch of even smaller YouTuber channels, right? Because as far as the indie YouTubers go, he's a fairly large channel, to be honest. Like he has hobby processes and stuff that um, it's really goddamn hard to see. Let's see. Okay, he has hobby processes and stuff that sort of like have defined part of the hobby, right? Like um, if you think about working with foam, right? Like he's one of the people that really helped kind of to really outline how that looks and how it works and um, how to do stuff like the goop that he makes, the like Mod Podge and black paint thing. Um, like that is a an element like from him from the hobby, right? Like that black magic craft like goop is it gets named after him kind of thing, right? Like um, and he's uh, clear apparently been having a bunch of trouble with YouTube, and that's kind of fascinating, right? Like, now I do imagine if he did like Warhammer content, he'd probably be doing better, um, which is kind of unfortunate on one hand, right? But um, it's the nature of like algorithms pushing for things that are most popular, so it actually kind of kills less or kills interest in smaller things, in like inadvertently. There's like a whole chest. That's kind of cool. I don't know why he's got silver nipples, but it's cool. Guess everybody needs silver nipples. Um, and that's kind of interesting. A couple other ones do it too. I've seen recently, and I think they probably got the idea from him. And doing kind of like a pseudo hobby blog kind of series is sort of like what these people are doing, and it's fascinating. I think it probably will in the long run, like help them in the algorithm, and that's important. Wow, that's a weird bright red piece in it, and I really hope it does. You know what I mean? Like, um, I've got nothing but respect for people that try to make YouTube a living, right? Like, I can't imagine how hard that is. Um, like, just that's got to be completely insane. Like, your income being based on whether or not people feel like you're interesting enough or whatever. Like, that's kind of fucked. You know what I mean? Um, definitely not like a good time. But I've also seen a lot of YouTubers transition to doing like indie game stuff, which is definitely interesting. Um, what is that? Oh, okay. This is the waist. Interesting. Okay. It looks like there's different pieces on each side. This one is this one, this, and then a clip. Okay. Oh, it's like a gun belt kind of thing. I get it now. Gotcha, gotcha. It's kind of cool. Um, Let's see. Yeah, so like a couple of the YouTubers have started doing like their own indie games. Black Magic Craft being one of those. Um, and also interesting. A little twisty waist. The interesting part of this is a joint, right? Here, like inside, that's a joint. Um, but you can't use it at all. It's like stuck because there's no clearance, right? Like this red piece would have to be a little higher, or the joint would have to be a little bit lower, and then you could have some waist articulation, right? You would kind of get this. Then I guess you would have that action figure. This is waist articulation kind of gap. So maybe that looks nicer still. Yeah, his silver nipples are still weird. Um, little glowy power pack there. And then I guess shoulder pads, I guess is this piece. Oh. And I think the rise of the indie game from YouTubers is fascinating. Because it's essentially YouTubers using their platform as essentially like advertising, right? Because um, when you make an indie game, essentially anyone can sit down and write rules, right? So you need like an initial distinguisher. So even if you have the best idea in the world, if you don't have something to initially distinguish it, right? It makes it very hard to like get pulled into it or get interested in it for people. So that initial distinguisher of what these YouTubers are doing is using themselves to essentially like push their games for that initial advertising and initial distinguisher. And that's really interesting from like a gaming perspective, because very rarely do indie games kind of come out and exist on their own merits. Um, that's kind of cool. Like shoulders, and then so the chest just isn't flat like that. You have this so it kind of bends. Kind of neat. He's very blocky. I mean, I guess that's fitting for Lego though, right? Very rarely just does that kind of initial distinguish happen for YouTubers on their own, or for those games for their own merit. Um, Probably the most recent one that comes to memory is Space Weirdos, because even Trench Crusade, as extremely successful as it has been, it had like essentially famous artists to kind of like get over that hump. Um, and majority of the game like more came from the art than existing as a game to begin with, right? So, um, it's kind of interesting that the can I just build this in Mirror and have it work? I'm assuming yes, so we're gonna do that. It's kind of interesting to see those games like still exist, um, and do super mega well, but they were kind of more born from a concept than a concept for a game, right? Like the game came from the art, came from the world, right? And I think that's kind of interesting, um, because for a lot of people, I feel like that's how Warhammer worked, right? Um, I think originally people were like sucked in by the cool art and this like crazy world before they even knew it was a game, right? You'd see like this awesome old picture of a space marine, like, fighting orcs or whatever. You're like, oh, dude, that's fucking rad, and then you're like, oh, that's a game? That's really cool. Um, it felt very much more like it was birthed from that versus being a game kind of first. Um, at least in my opinion on those. Like, I think that's how a lot of those kind of feel, right? Now, I could be totally wrong on the Crusade, Trench Crusade thing, but I am fairly sure that's how that came to be. Okay, I don't have two of this piece. So that means this other leg must be slightly different, which is a thing. That's a thing. So we'll have to figure that out. And I want to make sure I am on the right one. I am. Okay, this one. Let's see. Bonk. Okay, it needs to be this one. But yeah, since I don't have two of that piece, I guess that must mean you can't build them in mirror from there. Alright. Boop. And then what do we got on this other one? We've got long blue boy. There's the long blue boy. Oh, I actually do have two of that piece. Okay, you must be able to mirror them then. Where's my long blue boy? There it is. Okay. Let's see. We get one little swirly blue boy here. And then I was going to say, because I called those blue boys, my initially was going to go, and then we have a little black boy here, but that sounds really inappropriate to say, so we're not going to do that. There we go. So we got a blue and a black stripe. What's this one? Alright, a big flat black one. Interesting. I kind of expected these to connect to each other, to be honest. Alright, so big flat black one, and then two swirly guys on the sides. Bonk. And bonk. That. Okay, so it wraps around to connect. Alright, that makes sense. That makes sense. So then you still have it. So essentially the top and the bottom are now locked together off of that. So that makes a lot of sense. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think tabletop gaming is an interesting place. Because weirdly, FDM printing is doing extremely well right now. Like it is really jumping forward leaps and bounds. Um, and the minute that FDM printing kind of really hits like just a little bit closer to resin printing, it'll be really fascinating because resin printing has a lot of setup and stuff that um, I think a lot of people don't want to do for good reason. It's a pain in the ass. But I think because of that, there's sort of like this barrier. But with FDM, with it getting easier and also with it getting better, I think it was a situation where eventually that kind of will be like eating people's lunch. You know what I mean? All right, let's see. This guy goes down like that. And then, okay. So it's kind of like, it's almost like it's making like a secondary knee joint right there. And this is kind of overhanging to cover the hang ups. kind of fascinating. Anyway, what was I even saying? I don't know. This is the joy of building Legos like this. Just kind of getting that kind of like that ramble, right? I've heard people refer to it as Lego talk, right? Like it's the you're just kind of letting your brain run, and like you're probably gonna say some dumb shit, um, but it's okay because that's kind of what it's about, right? It's sort of like just that catharsis of uh, just kind of having a chat and just letting it go, you know. And that's very valuable. Um, Something else recently, speaking of catharsis, something else recently that has sort of been happening a lot is a lot of YouTubers have been doing videos touching on topics like motivation and stuff like that. Probably more than normal, to be honest. And I think it's kind of fascinating because a lot of their recommendations are very similar to like therapy recommendations for like depression and stuff like that. Um, and it's interesting that they're kind of attacking the same root almost of like the lack of desire, right? Because you know, depression and uh, a lot of like mental illness stuff. Um, they're only they're only considered like problematic when they interfere with your life, right? Um, so if it's been interfering with X amount of time, then it's problematic. It's the difference between major depression and something like dysthymia. Um, I'm not a medical health expert. Don't take me for medical advice. Um, but it's that like how do you kind of get that car rolling, right? Like how do you jumpstart the engine and get it going? Where the hell is this piece? There it is. Um, and for a lot of people, that is kind of just starting, right? Because when you kind of are in that slump and have kind of those depressive phases, that initial like hump is the hardest part to get over. It's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to get in the shower. It's hard to do these things because of, they take that activation energy that you just don't have, you know. And, we all kind of think that we should just be able to go forever, but that's not how that works, you know. Sometimes there are points where, you need to recharge and stuff, and um, so a lot of the like how do I get back into the hobby if I've lost my motivation, a lot of the kind of recommendation stuff really mirrors a lot of clinical psychology kind of recommendations. Um, what do we put on this side? Nothing? Oh, we have to mirror it on both sides. Okay. Um, I think that's kind of interesting, right? Like it's still kind of trying to tackle that root cause, you know. And to be honest, sometimes it's really hard to do that when there's so much going on. Um, I've been dropping in and out of social media recently. Uh, Kind of when oh, that's really weird. It's like a false knee, so it kind of looks like a knee, but it doesn't bend. Weird. Huh. I wonder why they would choose to do that. But yeah, I've been dropping in and out of social media a lot recently, right? Because just sometimes it's too much, you know. Um, and I need a break from it. And the same is true for sometimes the hobby. Like maybe the project that you've gotten into, you've lost interest in because your friends stopped playing, or you know, maybe you actually painted all the models in the army you thought were cool. So sometimes there's also some, or maybe you just lost interest because there's too much else going on in life, right? Like maybe you have to focus on other stuff right now because maybe you're all kinds of stuff could be going on. So in addition to that, kind of like how do I get started back up, right? Like I do feel like some self-reflection is kind of beneficial in there, at least for me, right? Uh, like I want to, I kind of want to do like a fantasy campaign game, right? Like the Frostgrave I was playing. Um, I want to do something like that. So because of that, I'm focusing on minis and stuff kind of that relate to that, right? Like I've got some Chaos Space Marines right there, and I'm just really not interested in painting those Chaos Space Marines right now. Um, that doesn't make them bad minis. That doesn't make them lame or anything like that. It just means I'm not interested in them right now. You know what I mean? I want to do some fantasy stuff. I want to do, like my little zombies and stuff, right? Like that's kind of like what I want to focus on at the moment. Because that all relates to, what I'm interested in right now. Um, but it's not a situation where I would be like, oh, I need to restart my Chaos Space Marine mojo or whatever, right? Like that's um, just not true, essentially, right? Like they're waiting there, and when I get back to them, they'll be there still. Similarly, I have all of my Gene Stealer cults. My entire Gene Stealer cult army is painted. Which way does this go? It goes like this. Okay. Yeah, my whole Gene Stealer cult army is painted and ready to rock. Um, but I mean, I'm not really playing space games right now, right? So when I am, they'll be awesome in one-page rules. But they can sit there and chill until then, right? Like I have to finish their bases, kind of thing. Um, and they'll be there when I come back to them. But it would be very easy to be like, oh, well, you don't do this anymore, you don't do that anymore. Well, it's like, I don't do it right now, right? That doesn't mean that I've lost interest in it. It just means it's not my focus at the moment. I mean, case in point, this is the first Lego set I've built at the house in God years. Um, and it comes spurred on from the fact that I built some at work and had a really good time. Um, I got some little sets on sale and had an awesome time building them at work. Um, because my new job has some, I guess, like downtime in it, essentially, where I don't have enough time to start a new project, and I don't have enough time, or I have too much time to like continuously work. So, I'll have like 15 seconds here, 30 seconds here of downtime, that kind of thing. So, that's long enough to put one Lego piece in. Well, interesting. So that goes like that, and then this plugs into that. Weird, dude. That's a weird build piece. What the hell is that for? Are these feet? And these are like the toes? Are these his toesies? Are these his toe beans? Yeah, I bet you. At first I thought this was like a knee, right? And I was like, oh, it's kind of weird they're not putting anything on this flat surface here. But yeah, no, I think these are feet. Anyway, the sudden increase of YouTubers doing kind of like motivation kind of topics and stuff, I think is really interesting. Um, I think probably because there is a lot going on in the world right now. I think maybe that's maybe where that's coming from, though I can't say 100%. Um, but I mean, for a combination of a lot of people having trouble with money right now, and with there just being a lot of stressors in America at the moment, I think that that's a fairly sound guess, right? And probably drop in hobby interests and hobby content interests. Um, that goes like that, right? Yeah. This one goes. Okay, hold me. These are just slightly too skinny. Almost like the toe's got to go in first. Oh, there's his toe beans. That's kind of cool. Oh, do they intend him to be flat-footed like that, or do they intend him to be up on like this? He's probably supposed to be like that. Although raccoons are kind of flat-footed. Bonk. Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. The false knee is a weird choice. Anyway, what was I saying? God, I don't know, man. I'm just been, like I said, fucking Lego talk, rambling. Um, oh, the mental health stuff and motivation stuff. I think it's very fascinating. Um, and I wonder if it is because of the increase of stressors at the moment, or I wonder if some YouTubers are pursuing it because maybe it gets higher algorithmic views. Maybe. Can he stand on the tips of his feet? Yeah, he kind of. Interesting. But I think raccoons are plantigrade, though, I think. I feel like I should know that. Alright. And then we already did the other leg. You can skip over all that. Move on to baggie number 3. Alright. Whoop. Going to be helping a friend move house later, or at least move some stuff around her house. So, uh, that'll be nice. It's nice to help her. She's a really cool person, and but man, I am so goddamn tired. I tell you what, it big tiring. All right, let's see. But yeah, I don't know. As far as my campaign stuff goes, I think keeping my motivation in it is hard because that comes and goes for me, right? As I have more energy or less energy, um, I lose and gain uh, interest and sort of like momentum, right? I think that's uh, definitely makes it just like a flat out challenge. for something that, you know, to an outsider probably shouldn't be a challenge, right? It probably looks like it's a situation where, you know, it's a really fun thing to do, right? I should always kind of be motivated to do it. Um, that's a cool leaf piece. I'm assuming that's going to be an ear. Um, you know, so from like an outside perspective, I understand that, right? Um, but you know, streaming at all takes energy. Oh, we have another pink piece. That's cool. Um, so running campaign stuff and playing a game and trying not to just talk bullshit, although I talk a lot of bullshit. Um, you know, is a challenge, right? And it does take energy. Um, and even afterwards, you know, where it's fun and you feel accomplished and stuff, it's still like, man, I kind of need a break from my break, you know. Um, across go. Um, um, so yeah, so maintaining that is toughy, you know. Let's see, I guess it's just the weird one. Yeah, I guess it's just it. Okay. So, yeah. So I feel like for me, right, like kind of identifying what the hell is that piece? Oh, weird. Okay. I feel like identifying what is kind of the rewarding part of it for me, right? And that's usually getting to make new stuff and put new minis on the table and kind of make terrain and kind of build these worlds and stuff. I think that's probably the most rewarding part. Um, and mm, I think the bookkeeping um, of like the after action game and stuff like that, I think is probably the least interesting for me. So it's one of those things where like if I choose to play a campaign game, I definitely want to play one where I can do that part on the channel, right? Because having um, having at least like the YouTube channel to talk to, right? Like even if no one's chatting or whatever, right? Even having just the basic YouTube channel to talk to is rewarding and makes it more engaging and interesting for me. You know what I mean? Whereas I would be probably way less motivated to do that kind of piece by myself. What the hell piece is that? That's weird. There have been many Lego pieces in this I do not recognize. But that's kind of cool to be honest. It also makes me feel a little bit old because I'm like, man, I don't know all the pieces anymore. you know? Um, there it is. Because there always like been like kind of one-off pieces that are unique to certain sets or whatever, but um, these kind of like core foundational weird pieces just not used to at all. Okay, so let's see. That's that. But yeah. Anyway, just interesting stuff. I think next time I do play, I'm gonna play on my cool new Quar stuff. Quar terrain that I built. Um, because I think that sounds like fun. Although the cave terrain is just phenomenal. And to be completely honest, I feel like it works amazingly well for streaming. Especially given the way I stream with the rotating table and stuff. I feel like it works super duper well. So, because sometimes you'll see like these like crazy dense boards like for Necromunda and stuff, and it's like I've kind of specifically built a lot of my terrain to not do that, and not make it like ludicrously dense because um, because it's honestly just really hard to film one, right? And I think that when that's the case, you don't really get to see all the cool stuff. You don't get to see the minis really well. Like it works really good when you are physically like in a building with a person, but um, when you're like watching on YouTube, the really mega crazy dense boards just they don't work very well. Um, I was watching some YouTubers for Dead Zone for a while, and um, what's that guy? That's one of the reasons I stopped watching it because the videos like they were trying to do a cool like held cam kind of style thing, and it was neat. But it didn't work very well with how dense and tightly packed their terrain was, which probably looked really cool on the table for them, but as a viewer, it just made it hard to see anything. You know what I mean? Um, so that's why I've always tried to keep some of the terrain flat. Even the like Willy Wonka Quar building stuff that I'm printing, even that I am not going to print out the biggest buildings. Just because one, you'll never see the top of them on like YouTube, um, because they're going to be bigger than my cameras can like zoom out to. When you take into account the table and all that kind of stuff. Man, this rabbit has a really small head. Skinny. Alright, let's see. And then this piece goes on the bottom. Got that one. And we got this guy. And they go here and there. I think it's a really nice animal head base, though. Oh, there's actually printed pieces. Uh, Interesting. Okay. Alright, missing something here. Oh, okay. That's what I'm missing. Okay. Okay. That. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's on backwards. Should go the other side. That's kind of cool. Kind of makes part of the face like kind of fluffy like that. It's kind of neat. Hmm. Oh, wait, man, I'm missing a lot of steps. Shit, hold on. I apparently just skipped this entire page. Okay, so it's going to be the attachment for the jaw then. And then this must be the neck hole. There's probably like a peg with a ball in here somewhere. That it will like peg and ball and then click right there. Let's see. Interesting. I got more of these. Okay, so I guess that's building the face out a little bit. And then, ironically, we're using Wolverine claws for the whiskers, which is kind of delightful. Yeah, that's kind of adorable. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that the Wolverine claws is highly amusing. There we go. All right. Let's see. We've got ooh, big weird eyepieces. And then what goes on the back of the big weird eyepieces? That, and a round one. That. And these. That. Where's the other big weird eyepiece? There it is. Um, but yeah, so I think I'll be using one-page rules for the basics of the war campaign, and then I think I might try out some of the uh, 5 leagues from the Borderlands stuff. It looks like he's looking to the right. Let's see if we can change that. So we want to rotate this around. And with that on that side, which means this needs to go here. Like that. No, that's wrong. That's the opposite of what we wanted. Okay, let's see. We want it like this, which means this guy needs to go in this corner. like that. Okay, it's the easiest way to do it. All right, that's a lot cuter than it looks in the box. I'm not gonna lie. Um, yeah, that's pretty freaking adorable. Wait, he has an eyebrow block? Oh my god, he does. Oh, it's so dumb. I love it. He's got a freaking eyebrow block. Oh, we got more eyebrow action. Okay, so this is for the bandit maskness of it. Interesting. I'm surprised there's no piece in there to like connect that. It kind of just is one thing. Yeah, that kind of only really has one connection piece, so I'm kind of a little surprised there's not something inside to like connect to there. Yeah, here's the neck piece. This is how I thought this would work. This is from this is like old Bionicle pieces, man. But anyway, oh, apologies. I am probably running out of steam. So after we finish this bag, I'm probably going to take a little break. And um, yeah. So my goal for this week is to get all my one-page rules lists up so I can play a campaign because I can't. Um, my rules as they stand right now are my unit rules are actually not up right now. I haven't been able to finish them. There was some like leveling, not leveling, balance errors or something that I was trying to sort out. Because I want them to count as like a fully balanced thing. So I was trying to sort all those out. And I haven't managed to get them all done yet. Because I'm just not mega familiar with building your own armies on one-page rules. Like it's a nice, easy, intuitive system, but like I'm not like crazy familiar with like how to make sure that they're balanced and stuff. All right, that was really cute until we put the teeth on it. Now it's just kind of fucking deranged. Yeah, that's pretty deranged. I'm not gonna lie. Why didn't they just give him a couple more pieces here so he would have some lips, so it would hide the teeth? Like he kind of looks like a crazy raccoon nutcracker. Like with a couple more pieces, you could just a couple more white pieces right there. Interesting. Crazy raccoon nutcracker. Anyway. Oh. Okay, and then I guess you can put a sticker on this if you want to, but I don't want to. And then he gets a different kind of pouch, which is this guy and this guy. Maybe this is supposed to be reversed. Yeah, I bet you it's supposed to be like that. Nice. Well, it's pretty far. We got to in an hour and 15. Um, Pretty cool. That face is deranged though, man. Why with the teeth? Like you could just like a little bit of like one white piece right here would have just taken care of it. But yeah, it kind of makes him like a deranged uh rocket like nutcracker. But yeah, that's pretty darn cool. All right, I'm gonna take a break though, because I'm out of energy. And while I have been Lego talking this entire time, which inherently itself is nonsense, I am really getting into the nonsense levels of yammering. So I'm gonna call it there. If you stuck with me while I rambled about mental health and YouTuber trends and all the crazy shit I talked about today, thank you. Um, this was fun, and it was a nice thing to do considering I can't paint today. So yeah, so I'm gonna go chug a whole bunch of water because yeah, I'm busted. So, and I will catch you guys next time. Have a good one and keep on keeping on.